Hi, I'm Nick Jensen, also known as Nick Brick, and what I got here is a few builds from the Alien franchise on the 40th anniversary of the original film Alien. So what we have here is the motion tracker from the game Alien Isolation, a version of the theatrical poster with the different dates, xenomorph, and he's got some good pro tips right there, like and subscribe. The chest burster, of course, a classic scene from the original film, and then the pulse rifle from the sequel, Aliens.
So these are great builds. Which one did you start with of the series here?
The first one was the motion tracker from Alien Isolation that was actually built for last year. So in Alien Isolation, the game's premise is you're Ellen Ripley's daughter, Amanda Ripley, and you're trapped on a station with the xenomorph tracking you down. And you have this motion tracker early on in the game that lets you know where they are, kind of. And it's a terrifying game. And that hearing that beep from the motion tracker get more high pitched as they close in on you, it's scary. So it lights up using some brick stuff LEDs. Got the screen lighting up with the radar, and also the side lamps and this red light right here over by the coil. It doesn't actually work, of course. It's not going to actually track any motion, but it's got the aesthetic of the original films where it's big and bulky, even though it's a game that came out 5 years ago as of this build. It still has like that classic 70s sci-fi aesthetic.
And the lights really make it pop and stuff, so it makes it, definitely adds a lot to it.
So next I'm going to show the theatrical poster. And it's not exactly like the theatrical poster. Took a little bit of creative liberties, but the main thing is there. You got the alien egg for the face hugger, and then the alien text spaced out, and we got the years 1979, 2019 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Alien franchise. Next, I'd like to show something from the original film. We got the chest burster, which is one of the scariest scenes in cinema, where John Hurt's character lies on the table, choking on his food, or so they think, and then suddenly forcibly births this alien from his chest. So it's quite bloody and gory, just like in the film. See some blood drips made with different like lightsaber blade pieces, different lasers, and some trans red grills. And one of the things I wanted to do for a while, and I know it sounds really weird, but I had all these dark red leaves that I wanted to use for something organic, kind of like gore or something like that in a full-scale build, and this build definitely called for that. So it looks like it's bursting out your chest, so you got all kinds of blood and guts kind of feel to that.
Adds a nice effect to the build.
I swear I'm not crazy. So next I'd like to show the xenomorph. Originally this was just going to go with the pulse rifle on the stand, but it kind of turned into its own build. One, because it's too tall for the stand, and two, it's pretty detailed as well. Let me remove the like and subscribe real quick. Yeah, you got its thin, spindly figure and all kinds of different Technic bits to make it look like the original Alien, that terrifying figure that you see later in the original film and, of course, in all the sequels.
Right, and so what's the kind of structure like in terms of making that thing stand up?
There's through the limbs, there's some Technic, some thin bar pieces that connect to more sturdy connections that can accept bars. And it stands up, well, of course, using the legs, but the tail also is holding it up, so it has a good tripod pose so it doesn't fall over all the time.
Perfect.
And it can hold up some weight.
It holds up the very important signage that reminds everyone to go like and subscribe and check out Nick Brick on YouTube.
Please do. Yeah, I appreciate anybody that comes to their channel and checks out my work. It really means a lot. So finally, what we have here from my favorite film in the series is Aliens, James Cameron's sequel to the original film. It was more so an action film, but still had the horror elements. But one of the iconic things about this film is it featured the Colonial Marines, who had these awesome pulse rifles. It has a absolutely unique firing sound and a look to it. The original props were constructed from some real firearms, namely SPAS 12 for the shotgun. It's a grenade launcher in the movie, but of course SPAS 12 is a shotgun, and a Tommy gun, a Thompson, for the actual rifle itself. In my research, I found out why they use a Thompson. It's for the 45 ACP round that it fires leaves a giant muzzle flash that just looked great on screen. So that's why they chose to use that particular gun and then built the prop from there.
It's very cinematic.
Absolutely. So one of the iconic details of this firearm is that on the right side of the weapon is this bright red ammo counter that counts down from 95 in the film or 99 in lore. Yeah, and Brick built that. It has some Brick stuff LEDs just like the motion tracker does, and it's lit from above, going downward. And the battery box is hidden inside the carry handle right here. So it was built from the grenade launcher back and then back to the front from the top backward. It seems so complicated, but I decided to go with the part that would have the most intricate detail, which was a shotgun, and then go up to the more iconic details, which is like this giant carry handle, the ammo counter, all that kind of stuff. And of course, it's got some working functions. Go ahead and show those. Got moving trigger, a sliding charging handle. Not used in the film, but it's part of the prop. Removable magazine. Let me try to get that out. There we go. With some bullets on top. It's also got a working grenade launcher trigger hidden inside of this magwell here. Use a small, thin horn piece, which that trigger is super thin, so it worked perfectly for that. And then for the pump action grenade launcher, it's got to have some pump action.
I love it. I mean, one thing I always come to expect from your great builds is all the action and kind of the moving parts in there, and this certainly doesn't disappoint. So I know we featured a lot of your builds over the years, and you've done a lot of these great weapons. Do you still find challenges as you start to work on these, or do you feel like you've kind of gotten it down to this point where you can pretty much tackle any build and figure it out?
There's always something different with every single build. With this one, I usually make a bunch of video game replicas, and generally at a Brickworld setting or in general, there's not a lot of gamers that like pay attention to the intricate details. However, with something as iconic as the alien rifle that's regarded as one of the finest sci-fi weapon props in cinematic history, there's a lot of people that know what this looked like, and to make a faithful replica, you just got to study the details and just make sure you get it right, do your research. And there was a lot of research that went into this just to be sure that anybody that has seen the film will recognize it right away, and anyone who's seen detail into the props or tried to replicate it themselves will recognize the authenticity.
I think so, and you can certainly tell all the thought and work that went into it here as you look at the weapons. So excellent. And you even got the little stand for it as well.
Yes, the display stand was designed to look kind of like the USS Sulaco's hangar bay, which there's a grand battle at the end of Aliens in this hangar bay with Ripley with the loader and the alien queen. It also holds all the rifle grenades, the 30 millimeter grenades that would be loaded into this, but it doesn't actually work. I didn't make it so you can load the grenades or anything, but it looked cool.
So that's fantastic work. So once again, everyone, if you want to check out more of Nick's builds, go over to Nick Brick on YouTube. We'll have a link in the description. So besides this type of stuff we've just looked at, what else can people find over there if they want to check out your channel and see some of the other work you've done?
All kinds of different video game, firearms, prop replicas, cosplay kind of stuff. Huge fan of Halo, which is, of course, inspired by Alien, so it almost comes full circle.
Yeah, works really well. So yeah, thank you so much for taking us through the builds here, Nick.
Thank you.